What's up, everybody? All right, so as you saw in the other video, I had a few little mishaps at cams. So obviously we got to replace the brake line. We also have to replace the GK Tech tie rod. So just some other things. The FC. So I've had these spacers for about a year now. They are the $40 ones off Amazon. So it is nothing to write home about. They have lasted, about 7-8 months without any issues. And just recently, I just actually at Cam's, I went to change the driver's side tire out to a brand new one and my raise. And kind of got to that point where you start loosening it and you just know. So I went ahead and just put these two back on and loaded it on the trailer, and we ended up getting home a little early that day. And so when I got home, that's just like I thought. All I had to do was just take probably about a half a turn, maybe even not that, with my breaker bar, and it just snapped them straight off. So I have new spacers ordered. I don't know if they're going to be in, so what I've done is just get some more studs, and so we will be I'll show you the way I'm doing this just because I don't have any of the fancy tools. So we're going to get the studs back in here and get the FC back up and running. It had some issues. I'm sure if you're keen enough to notice that this passenger seat kept flopping back and forth, and my girl who was operating the camera was just, doing this type of thing every time. So this floor in this FC is pretty rusted and rotted out, and it's probably had 4 or 5 different seats in it before I got it. So what I've had to do is just basically put spacers in here. I had to go get longer bolts from Home Depot and put some washers. Nothing crazy, but that's what was wrong, is I was only in there about 2 threads with the factory bolts from NRG, and I went to Home Depot and just matched them. So if you are looking for longer NRG seats, it may apply to most of the other seats. I just don't know for sure, but they have them in different lengths at Home Depot. So, and you can even get them in different size heads, but they are M8 by 1.25 thread pattern to go in the NRG Prisma seats. So anyway, that is what I've got to do for the FC RX-7. My good friend and a little bit of a sponsor at Level Ride Concepts, builds a lot of stuff for Drift HQ, but he came up with this awesome design for the 370Zs, G37s, and many other platforms. But it is a fire extinguisher mount for the passenger side. So essentially what it does is just you take out the seat bolts in the front and you put this in underneath it, and it puts the fire extinguisher nice, clean, and flush up against the center console. So shout out to him for sending that out. We're going to make sure that it fits the G37s because it is different than the 370Zs. I have these all over my car, both cars actually. So if you ever see these cars out, just go ahead and scan it. Just check out the website to see what they can do for your drift car. So Level Ride Concepts and Thomas. And then big shout out to Officer Dan the man. Got me these out really fast. So I bent the tie rod, obviously, so these come in pairs. So I wanted to go ahead, these are the tie rod extenders for the GK V2 kit that goes on the G37 370Zs. So anyway, these come in pairs, so I went ahead and just bought 2 tie rods. That way I can have an extra. I thought about just replacing both of them, but if it's not broke, I don't think I'm going to fix it right now. I'll just keep it with me. And then, of course, from O'Reilly is the brake line assembly that I rubbed a hole in. I actually rubbed a hole in this piece right here, but it is all one piece, so this is how it's sold right there. $46. not bad. So it shouldn't take me too long. I'm going to try a new camera angle for you guys and a little better lighting, in hopes to kind of just bump up all the likes and make sure that I am producing quality stuff for you. So we do have an extra axle from Summit, so if any of the guys following along have a FC RX7, which is 89, no, I think it's 86 to 92. They sell these at Summit for 70 bucks. So stock up on one. It's always nice to have one. It was always told that you can't find, the axles. They're really hard to find. You have to get on eBay and get used ones, but they are brand new at Summit Racing. Luckily, there's one local to us. So I do keep spare spacers, even from other cars and stuff. So sometimes, out on track, if you happen to break what the 12 by 1.5, which is what the Mazda takes, then, you could always, if you run on the same kind of spacer, you could always just run one of these. So I keep extra lug nuts. This is the M by 1.25 for the Nissan. So, you don't always like to do that, but in the worst case scenario, you need to get another lug nut on there. You snap all of them. At least I'll have something with lug nuts. But yeah, so you can see in my Goon Squad bag, I keep, those are actually 12 by 1.5s in there. And then in the toolbox, I keep the 12 by 1.25 lug nuts. Grip Royal. But yeah, so straight up. By the way, if you have any Rays, 57 CRs or 57 DRs in the Sakura pinks, holla at me. Holla at this dude right here. Peace. All right, everyone. So kind of what we have here is the driver's side of a 08 G37. I'm just simply going to change this. Obviously, I've got my ghetto fixes right here. It did not work, but it would have allowed me, 4 or 5 pumps that it would still leak fluid out, but it would lock them up if I needed to. So I kind of kept that, as I said, in my bank account. I had 5 emergency brakes that I needed to do, but other than that, I was able to just kind of downshift and coast and really plan out and get home safely. So we're just going to change that out. And what I'm going to need so far is I know I'll need a 10 millimeter, most likely an open wrench, and then a 12. It'll take care of all the bolts to the frame. The 10 takes care of all the hard lines. In this particular setup, the back and the feed line right here is actually a hard line, and then there is the hard line that you can't see because of this, but right behind here it's a hard line into a frame mount. So you want to make sure and take those off. At least you can loosen these up first, but make sure you don't take those off first, because you could potentially bend the hard lines. So yeah. kidding me, bro? All right, well, as you can tell, I've had absolute hell with this. This was in there really tight, the actual tie rod into the tie rod spacer from GK Tech, and I snapped the ears off. So I have absolutely ruined any chance for this car to go to the Invitational this weekend. There's no way to even get a rack spacer here. It's a night, so you'll see this again whenever. I don't know, it'll probably be a few days. All right, what is up, everybody? So I left off last night pretty upset with myself just because of the little ear tabs that broke off on the existing offset spacer. So kind of went back, did some research and actually like watched some GK Tech videos and realized kind of what I did wrong. And so I had some stuff ordered. I was hoping it would be here overnight. I ordered it Friday with the hopes that it would show up on Saturday. So it didn't, and I basically spent the weekend drifting at Cam's in the FC. So I did get to come home today, and in the mailbox was a nice little care package from Dan and the boys over there at GK Tech. Got some stickers, but more importantly, I got a pair of the offset spacers. So this is the part that's allowing it to spin freely and what is broken. I was just stupidly wrenching on this as hard as I could and broke these tabs off on this one. So, yeah, on this one right here, you can see. So anyway, we're going to kind of get you set back up on the other DJI. Maybe just try to transition into the other video like we didn't screw up and this never happened. But once again, we're at day 2. We got to get ready for the Lone Star Drift competition at the Houston Police Academy this weekend, April 8th and April 9th. It is also my son's 16th birthday, so yeah, it's kind of crazy that I have a 16-year-old. But anyway, so we're going to get this car ready to go and ready to go on track. So I'm going to do a nice little voiceover just to end this video out. I did have some music going and it is copyrighted. So basically what I'm doing here is I just started the car up and I am checking the clearances, making sure at full lock that I don't have the new brake line stretched out or that I have enough clearance between the lip of the wheel and the new brake line so I don't do this again. And you can see here there is a little bracket that actually bolts onto the BC coilover and it holds that little T, that union right there in the brake line. And so I noticed it had worked its way up a little, which put right where my finger is, it put that right at the lip of the wheel. So I mean, any kind of bump or anything at full lock or, you know, just kind of suspension travel, and it's going to do it again. So what I don't show in the video is I went ahead and lowered that bracket down and I got that completely clear of the lip of the wheel. What I'm talking about here is just showing the bump stops. I was looking at it to see what different locations I could put it at to maybe reduce some of the angle. I know that sounds crazy, but the GK Tech kit just gives me so much. You can see it's already almost hitting the tie rod right there. And so I just wanted to be able to just kind of minimize this from happening again and be able to continue driving it kind of all out. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This is a goofy little repair video. I'm trying new things. I'm not sure, what's taking off, what's not doing good. I know my last video only had like 55 views, but like, I get it. It's goofy, non-lighted videos. So, like always, I really appreciate y'all. I'm gonna post up the JD Invitational videos. I won't wait another week to post it. I already did the Houston comp, so I'll release it, and then we'll catch up by doing Fuel Fest at the Texas Motor Speedway. So I will see you later.